Back at the Canadian Championships in Montreal, Leah Pell said she wanted to make sure in the 1500 meters she's got standard and she's got the title, and she's with Charmaine.
Congratulations,
right now.
Leah, on a fabulous run off to the Commonwealth Games. What are your personal expectations there?
Well, at the Commonwealth Games, I hope to run to, to my athletic ability, and I feel like I'm going into the games physically fit, mentally fit, and very prepared. So I'm hoping for the best.
Now tell me about your strategy coming into this race.
Well, it's always something really special to win a Canadian Championship. So the goal was to win, and I just thought that, I would just sit and wait and see what happened in the race, and hopefully I could kick at the end and win.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, Charmaine.
Let's go back to Don Whitman.
Yes, and Leah Pels will be looking forward to kicking in much the same fashion, perhaps to a gold medal at the Commonwealth Games in Kuala Lumpur. She led Sarah Howell and Cindy O'Crane to the finish line here in Montreal. The men's field, two runners larger than the women's 1500-meter final. There are 17 competitors, and the world record of 3:26 established earlier this year by Hichem El Guerrouj in Rome of 3:26, not likely to be threatened this afternoon by Kevin Sullivan, but he has his sights set on the Canadian record of 3:33.94, which was set by Graham Hood in Zurich in 1997. At the World Championships in Gothenburg, it was a tremendous final lap finishing kick by Kevin Sullivan that carried him to a fifth-place finish in 3:36.73. Sullivan has been training very well this year. He has been running very well this year, and he is looking forward to adding the Canadian Championship to his list of accomplishments. He is a five-time Canadian champion.
I think Kevin's got more sting in his last 300 meters now, Don, than he had in 1995, and if he has to come from the back, we know that he can do it.
The big thing for Kevin Sullivan, I'm sure, in the early stages of this race is to try and stay out of difficulty.
Position is everything. This is a traffic jam. 17 men. It looks like the beginning of a marathon final. Kevin's hit the track twice this year, once at the NCAA final and once in Rome, and this is something he does not want to do here.
Kevin Sullivan, each time he steps onto the track, has goals in mind, and nothing's different here in Montreal.
It's a challenge every time to go out and try and run that fast. So it's good for me to have a goal like that, a time goal that I can shoot for. And I don't just want to break the Canadian record. I'd like to run significantly faster than that. But you got to take it one step at a time. And the first step is, I think, is going after those records.
Jerry Ziak is leading the way down the back straight. They have completed one lap in this race. Kevin Sullivan back in the field. 3:47 is Reese Trenhale. He is running in second place. 4:83 is Dan Henniger. He is third. Rich Tremaine in the pack. He's one of the favorites along with Kevin Sullivan. What a clocking by Hichem El Guerrouj. That time of 3:26. You just wonder how much lower they can take that world record.
It's a phenomenal time. That brings in the mile at 3 minutes and 42 seconds.
Continuing to lead the way is Ziak. And now from the outside, there's a move by Lindsay Pusholt. Competitor 135, Tom Bima of the Echo Athletics, has also moved up into a challenging position.
This race hasn't developed yet, Don. Everybody's sitting on everybody else. The time is pedestrian as they hit the first 800 meters. In fact, they seem to be slowing even as they come up to the break point. Someone needs to take this race. Only Sullivan and Agar have the standard. They're all walking through this one.
Now Sullivan begins to push things. He's on the extreme outside down the back straight. He has moved up. He is competitor number 12. A little jostling there, and Sullivan almost got himself into some difficulty. We talked about Sullivan trying to stay out of trouble. That was his strategy, and you see a little more pushing taking place in front of Sullivan. Some of the runners wanting those ahead just to step things up a little.
We could see both Agar and Sullivan getting ready for their kick. Somebody's got to set this up, or they're going to have to do it themselves, and they've got to be aware that somebody's moving on the outside of them now.
Andrew McKeesock making a move on the outside, and moving on the inside is Alan Clausen of the K-Jacks, 30 years of age at the bell, moving into the lead, and moving up beside him, Kevin Sullivan. A little more bumping and pushing. Sullivan has moved into third place. as they get poised to apply a finishing kick down the back straight. Agar has now moved into the lead. Steve Agar leading the way. Sullivan trying to track him down, trying to get in there, but denied access to the front by Clausen. And now going to the outside is Sullivan. He had to swing wide, and Sullivan and Agar are in a head-to-head battle, and trying to stay with them is Clausen as they come off the bend. It is Agar and Clausen and Sullivan, and Sullivan is being challenged on the outside. Agar not giving up easily, and he hangs on. Alan Clausen coming through, and Alan Clausen upsets Kevin Sullivan.
Here comes Clausen straining on the inside. Sullivan just to his outside. You see Agar a little bit further out. At this point, Clausen has stolen this race. This is completely unexpected. Clausen has set this race up for his speed over the last 100 meters. Agar, Sullivan, they can't get him. It's too late.
Clausen made his move, got inside of Sullivan. Some of the pushing and shoving that took place earlier, and you see Clausen fighting his way through, pushing Sullivan, and Agar also gets tangled up with Clausen.
There's going to be some words shared. There's going to be some words shared about this after the race, without a doubt.
3:52.67 the time for Alan Clausen, Steve Agar, and Kevin Sullivan finishing second and third, and something of a surprise result, Charmaine.
Al, a surprise winner today. How were you able to maintain your focus knowing that you had two of the best runners in the world in your race?
Well, Charmaine, I think it was a tactical race. It was a slow race. It was a rough race, and I gave myself a shot, and I had the legs over the last 200. Felt good tonight in the last 200, so that was good.
Now, there was a lot of bumping in that race. Did that set you off any? I mean, you were doing some of the bumping too, mind you.
No, I mean, a lot of the slow races are like that, and I've been doing this long enough to know that I don't mind that, and I was just fortunate to be in good position with 200 meters to go and hold the boys off.
Well, now let's go back to Markley.
Alan Clausen with a huge upset and a gritty performance and a great win, but he does not have standard. Sullivan and Agar